Julian McIntyre grew up on a farm in Robeson County. A World War II veteran and a North Carolina State University graduate, he worked for 34 years with the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Soil Conservation Service. He moved to Cumberland County in 1968 and was a district conservationist for 18 years until his retirement. Over the years, he spent long hours in the fields with landowners discussing and working on windbreaks, irrigation ponds, and drainage ditches. Mr. McIntyre was inducted into the Cumberland County Agricultural Hall of Fame in November. He was honored for his work on a wide range of conservation projects, including the Flea Hill drainage system in Eastover and Wade.
As a district conservationist, my job was to assist farmers and others in planning and applying conservation measures on their farm. We were one of several locations in the state that served as a training location for new employees and for college students who were doing summer work as a student trainee. I was responsible for the administration of the field office, and we reviewed sediment control plans for the city of Fayetteville, and we promoted the soil survey of the county. There was a big need for drainage practices in the county when I came to here, both open ditch and tile drainage. And when the farmers requested assistance on drainage practices, we went to their farm, went over the fields, did preliminary surveys to plan a system that would work. When we decided this was effective, we would lay out the drainage lines at 100-foot intervals and take readings with the survey instrument to determine the grade and the depth of the ditches or tile. This was one of our responsibilities, and the next one was ponds in the county. There were approximately 30 ponds averaged a year installed in Cumberland County. There was a need for ponds for supplemental irrigation. These ponds, most of them were excavated or dug ponds. And that was necessary to use a soils auger to check the soil samples to see if that site was suitable for a pond. If and when that was determined that there was a suitable site, we measured the dimensions and did a design survey to give to the contractor. The farmer contracted with the farmer to do the work. There was a serious problem in the Four Points and Bethany communities with wind erosion damage. Sand particles blowing against young tender plants was doing a lot of damage. So the farmers in that area decided to plant pine windbreaks to help control the erosion. Approximately 30 miles of pine seedlings were planted in the late 60s and early 70s. Some used alternate strips of small grain, which was another way to help cut down on the wind speed. Those trees provided protection for about 10 times the height. Or if a tree was 50 feet, it would be 500 feet out from the trees. Another project was in the Flea Hill Drainage District. It was an area from Eastover and Wade area, and it runs from about 301 to the Cape Fear River. There were 43 miles of channels or canals that were dug in the early 1900s. Many of these canals had grown up in brush and trees and needed cleaning out. So the drainage district was reactivated and drainage commissioners appointed, and designs were made, engineering surveys to determine what needed to be done. It was completed in 1974. having grown up on a farm in Robeson County, I knew the hard work that was involved with farming. I enjoyed working with farmers and was satisfied when they felt that the work that was done, they were pleased with it. And we worked with the other agencies in the county, had good working relationships with them. We had good co-workers in the county and an excellent district board of supervisors. I am greatly honored and to be selected for that award, and it is an honor, and I want to thank everyone who had a part in my nomination and the approval of the nomination by the county commissioners.
George Autry began his career with North Carolina Cooperative Extension in 1976 after graduating from North Carolina State University. He worked 2 years as an agent in Halifax County, then transferred to Cumberland County in 1978. He became the county's Extension Director in 1985, a job he held until his retirement in 2009. In November, George Autry was inducted into the Cumberland County Agriculture Hall of Fame. He was honored for his work with our county's farmers and in establishing the Charlie Rose Agri-Expo Center and Agricultural Office and the Cumberland County Voluntary Agricultural District Program, among many other projects. Mr. Autry takes a look back at 30 years of service with Cooperative Extension.
I enjoyed working with the farmers and working with the clients. I started in 1976 in Halifax County, spent 2 years in Halifax County and then transferred to Cumberland. I wanted to get closer to home. I'm from Hope County. My wife's from northern Cumberland County in Godwin. So my career spanned 33 years, and I really enjoyed it. Working with farmers and working with the clients, but also the job itself. Being able to be something different every day, a lot of different challenges, but also a lot of different opportunities. Got to spend a lot of time outside. You had a lot of field work, but you were also in the office. But it was nice to be able to travel and see the county. And there's probably not, I don't know now because I've been retired a while, but probably not many roads in Cumberland County out in the country or in the rural areas that I wasn't on at one time or the other. Well, when I began in the mid-70s, agriculture was still in what they used to call the golden age, high production, and a lot of things going on, a lot of technology changes. And Extension's job was to disseminate that information and try to get that technology out there to increase efficiency and production. But as we got into the 1980s and we had some drought years and farmers were suffering, commodity prices. So we were looking at working with them to be more efficient and looking for other options, other commodities, other businesses. And that's kind of when the swine business and the poultry business began to change, and it went to vertical integration where companies were hiring or contracting with farmers to raise the animals, and they owned the animals and they owned the feed, and you provided the labor in the building. So that was a big change. And we went from when I started 90 sow swine operations, then we saw 240 sow, 500 sow, and over 1,000 sow. So those were some of the changes I saw in the 80s. And then in the 90s, we continued with this, and the same thing about efficiencies of scale and trying to help farmers have enough income to be able to stay on the farm. Because most people who farm because they choose to. And it's part of the tradition of their lifestyle, and it's a generational thing. Yes, they want to make a profit, of course, but it's more than that to a lot of people. And then as the first decade of the 21st century, started seeing the local food movement, people that wanted to get back to farming maybe on a small scale. So we were starting to see a lot of things like that. And Extension worked with them by providing the information to help with those opportunities. We worked with what we called community resource development, the 4-H youth program, and also family consumer sciences. But when I started, it was called home economics. But we worked in those other areas too, and I enjoyed working with them. Kids that I had in the 4-H livestock judging program now are successful adults, some of them in their late 40s. So, and just seeing them become citizens of the community and the leaders, and being able to farm and do what they so choose. Some of them do not farm anymore, but they're in a lot of other professions. It was nice to see how they progressed and were very successful. And then in the home economics program or family consumer science program, I enjoyed working with that and seeing how that progressed and changed over the years. When Mr. Wingate Collier called me, and he was the one that nominated me. I was completely surprised. Really, I was very surprised, but I was also honored. There are a lot of persons on that wall that've done a lot of things in this community. So I feel honored to join them on that wall. I really do. So I would say I'm surprised, but it's a big honor to me.